Hi guys, Randall here. I realize that often when I do reviews for VCs or units, I tell people that there's a lot of good stuff coming in the future and that they should know what they want to target and save accordingly. And I realize I've never actually covered what's coming up. So today I want to take a look at the JP timeline, go over the vision cards and units that are going to be released, and without going into any kind of depth. This is not a unit review. It's just talking about what these units can do, what impact I expect they're going to have on the meta, and what I think are the best things that people should save up for, or the things that are nice to have but not necessary in my opinion. Now, I will assume that we are going to follow the same schedule as JP because that's usually what happens. We could get some surprises, but usually we're getting the events in the same order. And then I'm not going to talk about any kind of seasonal event because we typically get them at the same time as JP, so there's no way we could predict those. We might be getting a Valentine unit, we might be getting an Easter unit. Who knows? We'll see when that happens, but that's not something I'm going to speculate on, that or Global Original. So the next event on our timeline is currently Final Fantasy IV Rerun. So when that happens, we're going to get Kain and Rosa back, and then the Demon Wall combination of Vision Card and Esper. I think among those reruns, Kain could be very interesting. He's a very powerful physical attacker that has courage and can remove it from enemies, but mostly his TMR is top tier for many units. If your unit can equip helmets, his TMR gives you move +1 and haste for 3 turns, and it can be used twice. It's just crazy, both for PvE and PvP, so that could be a good get, but getting unit for a TMR is always very expensive. Rosa is a very fun unit. She's got the capability to heal, use magical attacks and physical attacks all together just in her main job. So she's one of those units that you can build really however you like, and she's fun, but I don't think she's especially competitive. So not a unit that people should pull for meta reasons. And then Demon Wall is, I think, the must-get of this banner overall. The Vision card is good. It's about slash resistance and a pierce attack, but the Esper mostly is what people want to be getting. If you want to compete at a high level in Guild Wars, this is going to become a staple. It has light and dark resistance and slash resistance. You slap this on your tank, your Engelbert or your Joom or whatever you see in highest level guild play as a tank, and they are going to be taking the brunt of the attacks from these Starlit Elenas and light evasion squads a lot better. And if it's not light, it's typically dark, so you're also getting tankier against these. I think this Esper is going to see a ton of play. And then the new unit for this collaboration is Golbez, who's kind of a heavy armor version of Black Rose Helena. He doesn't have nearly as much damage. He is going to deal a lot of damage, but maybe not Black Rose level, and his damage is slightly easier to mitigate, but in exchange for that, he's a lot more tanky, so he will certainly have his uses. Do I feel like he's a must pull? Not really. I feel like with Black Rose Helena, players have something that's enough to farm and have competitive options for guild battle, and I feel like the Dark team is already plenty strong. If you do want to make your Dark game as strong as can be, he's a good unit to get, but there are stuff in the near future that's going to be a bit more impactful, in my opinion, than Golbez will be. Then a couple weeks later will be a vision card that is especially tailored towards those dark mages, so probably Golbez player or players that do run dark quite a bit might be interested in this, but it's a VC that's going to be giving you, for dark units, AoE resistance, magical attack, and crit rate, so it's more of a defensive VC. AoE resistance is really good, and when we take a look at future units going to be released, they basically all have large diamond shape attacks. It's become kind of a norm for a lot of units, so expect more AoE in the future. Basically everybody gets an AoE now. Then we are shifting towards the realm of fire, and the Setia has been a very interesting and powerful unit for a very short time in the meta in JP, because a short time after her release, we're gonna get a water tank, so it's a weird spot. She is a fantastic attacker. She's got great range, her damage is very hard to mitigate because she decreases fire resistance, breaks barrier, ignores a portion of missile res and defense, so eventually she kills just about anyone except high evasion characters because her accuracy is rather lacking, and Fire doesn't have great tools to deal with a lack of accuracy. They don't have a character with great accuracy up buffs or luck up vision cards or etc., so you kind of have to tweak your team in a weird way to make her hit. She is released alongside a specific Esper that gives fire attack and missile attack, and then the vision card that gives missile attack up, agility, and unit resistance, so these are all a really good package. But if you're looking for a unit that will be competitive for a very long time, I feel like that's not Setia because of how powerful water will be in the near future as well. Now, after Setia's release was the Halloween banner on the JP side, and then immediately afterwards, the Lightning Crystal Warrior Lanan. I think he's going to be fantastic in Global, mostly because we have Ibarra and they just pair together very well. But he is more of a bruisey character compared to Ibarra. He doesn't have nearly as much damage as what she gets, but instead he can put barrier on himself and increase his own spirit, and then they're a good... probably going to be good together because he breaks barrier, and so they can together kill just about anybody in 2 hits at most. So that seems like it could be a powerful combination, and then he's going to be released alongside the Esper and Vision card that is tailored towards Lightning Mages. So as you can see on screen, that's going to be a very powerful offensive combo. Now, I feel like this guy will have a rather long shelf life in Global because he will be paired with Charlotte probably and Ibarra in guild battles and whatnot, and that's going to have a very powerful backline that deals damage and can usually not die because Charlotte's in front and she is one of the best tanks for what's currently meta. So that's going to be a very interesting unit to have for a long time. And then Water will get very powerful units, and, well, Lightning counters Water. So yeah, he might be a good value to add onto your account. After his release comes our second cost 90 Vision card, the Chaos Odin one. It comes with an Esper as well, and he's kind of a version of the Odin we already have, but he's got some evasion nodes and then missile and magic resistance instead of missile and slash resist, but overall very powerful physical attacker for PvP that can be tailored to evasion builds. So the Esper is really a great get, and then the VC I think is a must get if you're planning to get the latest unit down the line. That's called Astoria, and that is I think the most fantastic unit ever released in War of the Visions. Mainly because it gives water units 50% attack, 13% HP, and 10 unit resistance. This is just a crazy vision card for water, and as we'll see, water is going to get some pretty powerful stuff in the near future. So I think it could be a very good get, but if it's like Bahamut and we don't have a guaranteed banner for it, don't spend all your viz chasing for it. It's going to be extremely hard to pull. Next up is the Final Fantasy VI collaboration, and this is where we see a fantastic collab. Like, all the units in there seem really fun and really worth pulling, and this is kind of why I'm not as excited as I was before for Golbez and Setia and Renan. It's just the future is packed with stuff that is very, very interesting. First off, the handout unit is going to be Luck, who is a light evasion monster. He's got really high amounts of evasion, he's got an auto revive that he can cast on himself, and then a AoE ability that basically steals AP from people, which seems extremely annoying. I can see him be great in manual, where you can just shut down an enemy with that, but even in auto on the JP with videos and whatnot, I've seen him perform very well, and then they don't even have Starlit Elena to pair with, so imagine if we have that on top, how strong he's going to be. Then there's also going to be Celes, who I believe is the best magic tank in the game. Now, Charlotte is really, really good at what she does. What Celes does, which is very different, is she absorbs spells entirely. So after she's used her buff, if she is in the area of an AoE spell that's being cast, and she has hate, so she's likely to be, this spell just doesn't happen. And instead, she gains some TP and AP back. And so your partners just don't even take any AoE damage because the spell does not resolve. And that is an incredible ability. It's not something we've seen before, and I believe that makes her an incredible tank. But then she also has some decent abilities where she has very large AoE attacks that decrease AoE resistance and etc. So not only does she absorb damage very well, she can heal and deal a bunch of other stuff. So she's very annoying too. I think if I had to name 2 units in the near future that are going to be the must-pulls, quote-unquote, of War of the Visions, Celes is one of them, and the other one is Astoria that I'm going to talk about in a short while. So definitely look out for her. And then the final unit of that collab is the one that gets the Vision card, and it's Terra. Terra, I find, is the least powerful of the 3, but she is still a very, very good unit. She is a magical swordsman with massive damage, really good natural bulk, she has courage, and she's able to put a physical barrier on top of herself, and then she's got some guaranteed moves that are going to hit very, very hard and boost herself. So she's a fantastic unit. It's just that the others are also very, very good, and she's a fire-oriented attacker that's released at the exact same time as a magic tank that's water element. So the timing is a little bit rough for her. The Vision card that's going to be released alongside her gives many turn on magical attacks for fire units, some spirit and missile resistance. So it is going to be great for fire teams. And probably if you're going for Setia and her, you could have a very strong fire squad. But again, water a little bit stronger right now than fire in my opinion. After that, we're hopping onto the Final Fantasy XIV Collab Rerun, and there is going to be Thancred and Ishtola getting their EX jobs. None of those I feel are extremely competitive, but I guess we'll see. But mostly the Signs of Shadow Vision card is going to get a rerun, which is a great get. It's the one card that gives light attack up. I think it's one that a lot of players running light would at least be interested in owning, so it's something they could consider. And then there's a new light card that's going to be released that gives slash resistance penetration, HP up, and magic resistance up, which is kind of insane. I feel like this vision card for light players is going to be one that they want to get. Especially, you could equip that on Luck, or you could equip that on Violet, the Persona 5 evasion unit that we're getting. And yes, we'll have now 3 light evasion monsters that have really good vision cards to equip on them as well. So this is mostly a short collab where some vision cards are going to be worth getting, I think. Then hopping onto the Ice Crystal Warrior. He's a very interesting one, but he's one that doesn't get a specifically designed vision card in Esper for him. There's just the Chell vision card that's released a short while afterwards that provides units of Ice Element with magic up, a little bit of area resistance, and magic damage up, but I feel like it's not that great. Like, you might as well run him in a Rainbow Squad and have Ramu on at that point. But Beris himself as a unit is very interesting. He's got a mix of good damage, good buffs, and powerful healing, so he can do a little bit of everything, and in that regards, he's kind of the ultimate support. For example, he's got the very large AoE heal that also restores AP for everybody. He can haste himself and another target together, and then he can have massive damage, a 220 mod that decreases spirit before dealing damage, or his own limit break, which is a guaranteed hit 200% mod that then puts a physical barrier for 3 times on himself. So lots of really good abilities in there. I just feel like he's not as overwhelming as some of the other stuff we're getting, but he's definitely not a unit you would regret having in your squad. And then immediately after his release, we're jumping onto the Persona collaboration, which has, again, a bunch of fantastic stuff. One of them is Violet. It's going to be another light evasion monster unit, one that I think will pair extremely well with Luck and or Starlet Elena, and she is going to have Courage, just like Elena, so hard to remove on that end. Now, she's not a magic-oriented character, doesn't have the starting AP that Starlet Elena has, but she's got a very interesting counter ability, where every time somebody misses her, she just counters them with a powerful attack. And then she's got some ability to make sure that whenever one of her friends crits, they increase their CT, so they take their next turn faster. Light is already very fast, that's gotta be annoying. And just like Luck, she has a very large AoE attack that is going to decrease AP for her targets and restore her own AP if she crits in her case. So I feel like Light is now going to lap you and strip you of your AP and kill your team. It's just going to get stronger and stronger as we go. The handout unit is Queen. She is a very interesting, strange unit. She's a kind of a bruiser. She's got really good amounts of HP, and then she has both physical and magical attacks. The physical are strike attacks or gun attacks, because every single one of the Persona collab units have access to the gunner subjob, and then she can use magic lightning attacks on top. And kind of all her attacks have some interesting add-on to them. Either they increase her own accuracy, or they decrease the enemy's spirit, or they haste her. So her limit break, for example, decreases lightning resist, then deals damage, then hastes herself. The flash bomb increases accuracy, then deals damage, then has a chance to stun. Her entire kit is very interesting, and for a handout unit, I think she's going to be one that's definitely worth building. Then the other unit we're getting is Joker, right? The main unit of Persona 5, who is kind of a switch hitter. He's got really good gun attacks, he's got really good dagger attacks that are more shorter range, so he's able to do damage no matter where he is, which is very interesting. He's got guaranteed hits, he's got the ability to break barriers and decrease defense, and very large AoE and single target attacks. He's got typeless attacks as well, so he's the kind of guy that you can't really mitigate, and I feel like he's going to hit very, very hard, but he's not as mobile as I would have expected Joker to be. He doesn't just dash around the map very easily. He will be released with a vision card that increases Man-Eater for dark units, for physical attacks, and accuracy and HP. I think it's a good vision card overall. I just wish the accuracy had been replaced by something else, because if you're running dark, you likely have the Black Rose VC, which already provides dark units with 25 accuracy. So there's a little bit of redundancy here. It could be a fantastic sub VC though, where you get accuracy in the secondary slot instead of the primary one. Now, after Persona, there is one more vision card until we hop with on the final unit, and this is another one for light units, which I feel could be very good, especially for potentially guild battle usage, if we still see a lot of light by at that point, because it provides your party with acquired AP up, sure, a little bit of luck, sure, great for a secondary slot, and then light resistance. And if you have Demon Wall and that vision card on top, your unit, especially your tank, is going to be very tanky against anybody light, which is going to be very interesting. So that could be a great get, depending on your team, depending on what you want. Just make sure you don't spend all your viz before the next thing that's going to be released. And that next thing is Astoria, who is, I think, the best unit in War of the Visions ever. Basically, his kit is completely insane. He's a water unit, he's the Water Crystal Warrior, and his limit break is just like Noctis's ability, where every time he attacks for the next 3 turns, there's going to be a follow-up attack, except his follow-up attack is physical scaling, and it's actually going to hurt very hard. When he puts Courage on himself, because he has Courage twice, he gains defense penetration and decreased AP consumption, not for 1 turn or 3 turns, but until he loses it, so that's also kind of nuts. He's got the ability to remove re-raise, break barriers, have guaranteed hits, decrease defense, just you name it, he's got it. And then on top of that, he's also got the sniper sub-job if you want to attack from a distance and not put yourself in too much danger. So he's going to be fantastic if you have the Chaos Odin VC and then Celeste to run alongside him. It's just going to be insane. And there's another water-oriented vision card that's going to be released in the same ballpark area that provides water units with accuracy up, water attack up, and water resistance up. Maybe you need this if he begins being everywhere in guild battle and you want to fight other water teams, but outside of that specific scenario, I don't feel like that's going to be the best VC for those teams. So that's the current schedule on the JP side. Now, looking at all this, there's a lot of good stuff. What I personally plan on doing is getting Demon Wall, because I feel like it's going to be very competitive. Maybe getting Kane's TMR, because for a lot of my class match applications where I love manualing, I think this TMR is going to be a fantastic addition to my kit. Then I would love Setia, but I think I'm going to have to skip her, because I feel like getting Celeste, then getting Violet, and getting Astoria is going to take basically all the viz I'm going to get in that period, and I don't want to skip either of those 3. And then I also want to build Luck, who's going to be a handout unit. So again, lots of stuff, and even I, as a spender, I have to prioritize what I want to get, because if I just go on anything, I'm going to end up running dry before the big unit at the end, that's Astoria. And then if they keep up the tendency, the next unit and the next one after that are all going to keep being fantastic, because why would they release something weaker than what already exists? So yeah, prepare your resources, guys. It's going to be a tough future. But that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Let me know your thoughts. What are the big things that you want to get or you're looking forward to in this timeline? And then thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.